baseball, coaching Grambling, Louisiana Tech, now Mountain and HBCU, previously scouted for the Atlanta Braves, and launched the first ever baseball program to compete at the SUNO last year. And SUNO opens the season Friday at Dillard. Please welcome Olen. He assumed the role of head coach and last March at this day, and now the current head coach is Dillard. The Blue Dillard after he took over at 14-6, clearly good things happen. Graduated out of state, served as an assistant there, and also served as an associate scout for the Red Sox and the Phillies, and served as a CPO and National Scouting Director of the National Scouting Bureau. Dillard opens the season Friday against Captain College. Please welcome Coach Dillard.
First and foremost, to educate people, because I don't know that people know that you have to even play baseball to some degree. And I know that's true on your program that you started last year. Just talk about starting the program, the challenges that you have with that, and also where it is right now after 1 year.
Well, like you said, it was a challenge, guys. I'm originally from New Orleans. I vowed never to come back to New Orleans to coach, and SUNO offered me the opportunity. We got a late start, starting in about July, August, so finding players was a little difficult. But thanks to my coaching staff, we got a bunch of guys from the area. We were able to find enough kids to compete. We ended up finishing 4th in the conference on last year, and looking forward to doing a little better.
Talk a little bit about some of your players and some of the players that really have helped make your program what it is and guys to look for this year.
We had a couple of guys make all-conference. We had 4 guys make all-conference. 2 that really stick out is Kyle Shepard, who was an outfielder. We also had Joe Alveda, who was a starting pitcher. So those 2 guys really stood out. But most importantly, third baseman Dan Latif found his stroke late in the year and really lit it up at the conference tournament. Made first team all-conference in the tournament.
How about your numbers right now? Where are your numbers wise? And how have you been received in the community in terms of schools and being able to get kids to come play?
Well, that's been pretty good this year. Second year, people start learning about you, and have a bunch of friends all over the country. So we ended up coming to camp with about 70 kids, enough kids to even make a JV team.
And the experience you've had prior to this, talk about how well that served you to prepare you for this.
Growing up under Joe Sherman, I've learned a lot. Joe, you know I was going to do this.
You grew up too,
you know, just watching guys like Joe Sherman and a lot of other guys. I see Skeeter in the stands, a bunch of guys, knowing the Barbier family forever. You know, it's just exciting to be back. And I just remember the Bush tournament in the Superdome. That was like one of the most memorable times I've ever had in New Orleans, where we have our teams, our local teams, UNO, LSU, Tulane, compete against all the big guys from Florida, Mississippi, Texas, everywhere, California. And just being back, being a head coach, bring back a lot of jitters when they get around this time of year.
Last but not least, campus, and everything's fully restored. It's growing as we speak, and the university is thriving, isn't it?
Yes, sir. They brought back athletics about 3 years ago. They had about 60 students. We're up to about 120 students. More importantly, you know, baseball brought about 70 of those. But we're growing, and next year we're bringing in track and field. So that should help a little bit.
Olen Parker Jr. of SUNO, give him a nice round of applause. Hopefully available for interviews when we're done as well. He's leaving Rod. Rod White of Dillard. Rod, first and foremost, welcome. You had a difficult task. Just talk about that, because when you have a change in mid-season, that's quite an adjustment for everybody, not the least of which is the kids. Just talk about that process.
First off, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it was a huge task undertaking. I was at that time I was still running the scouting bureau directly day in and day out, doing coverages, and turning in scouting reports to major league teams and things and whatnot. And when I got that call, it was to be honest with you, I thought the call was for like next year, right? So when Dr. Bell, our athletic director, when she made that phone call, she talked to me about an hour about things and how things were going and what direction they needed to go in, right? And at the end of the conversation, I was like, oh, so when are we looking to do this next year? She said, next year, I need you here by Friday. I'm like, wow, okay. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to transpire. I'm married 27 years. I have 2 daughters. Both are in college. One's actually getting ready to graduate. The other one will graduate a year from now. I had my granddaughter, and I was pawpaw, so I picked her up every day from school, drop her off, because I had the leisure to do that. And this was a huge change, because I ended up coming. Well, I talked to the team that Wednesday. She made the decision to release the former coach on that Tuesday. I met with the team that Wednesday. I had to pack stuff, get stuff ready, and get my coaching staff together, right? And we showed up on campus that Friday and played SUNO. That's 5 o'clock that day, 6 o'clock, something like that. Yeah, so it was one heck of a transition. And then getting the guys, because they just lost the coach, right? The coach that brought him in, he had started the program, Trini's Grant. They won the GCAC conference the year before, and they were distraught. And we had to get in and get these guys to buy into what we were doing and get them on the tempo, and we were able to do that, and we saw some successes. Now, just to be correct on the numbers, we were 19-6.
19-6.
Yeah, to make sure we get that right.
Yeah, that's a lot better than 14-6.
Right.
So, what changed? I mean, what changed to help you have that kind of success in the middle of the season otherwise?
I think it was the culture that we brought, right? Our whole process is really focusing on the process. It was paying attention to the minute details, the small things that a lot of people overlook, whether they are in the business world, in the sports world. It's just those minute details that people overlook. And so we spent a great deal of time of focusing on that. We brought in a very, very competent staff. I think I have one of the best coaching staffs in the country, bringing in Carl Nichols as our hitting coach to the Stars, Tamara Johnson, and T.J. White, and Dominic Smith, Aaron Hicks. We brought in Juan Palacios to come in, and he's Jackson Merrill's personal trainer, right? These are the guys that we have on the staff. You got an echo here. That's good. So let me go to this side.
That's good.
We brought him in. We had Malik Blaze, who was brought in 2 weeks prior to me coming. We kept him on. I just lost him to Major League Baseball. Then another kid that I just hired, Will Spears, I ended up losing him 2 days after hiring him back to Major League Baseball. So we have a very, very competent staff that the kids bought into. And they bought into what we were teaching, and they bought into what they were listening, and those were the results.
This season, just talk about your prognosis, how you feel about it.
Oh, man. I think we brought in some great guys, right? We had some great guys that returned. Quality Williams, our second baseman, Renard Smith, right field, Chaz Clark, who was an all-conference hitter last year. Not all-conference hitter, but he actually turned it around. He was batting .210 or something when we got there. At the end of the season, he was like 335. Those guys, we have a lot of return. We're senior laden this year, right? I have 17 seniors on staff, plus the guys I brought in, like Angel Polanco, big first baseman, power hitting guy. This year we have 17. Next year we have 20. So the recruiting process for me has been really, really go get it, right? So I got 37 guys to replace in 2 years, and so we've been hard at it. So I think we've been very well this season. I think right now they have us pegged as third place behind Talladega and Wiley. We had 2 first place votes, which is good. We just have something to prove. So we got something to prove.
Blue Devils head coach from Dillard, give Rod White a nice round of applause. Thanks for being here.